Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here today to review Loki. Loki episode 2! God, this show is killing me! This show... Yeah, I thought WandaVision was bad. I thought that crap in WandaVision, those complaints and that, I thought that pales in comparison to Loki. In fact, I take offense to them calling this show Loki. This show is not Loki. This show is... what could they call it to be a better name? Noki. As in, not Loki. Because this is not my Loki. You look at that incredible character from the Avengers, Thor 1, Thor 2, The Dark World. He was the highlight of Thor The Dark World. He was the best part of that movie. He was awesome. He was evil too. I mean, he was evil on accident, what he did with his mom. And in this Loki show, though, he has become this shitty character, this little cuck, this little bitch, this little goofy guy who sits and watches training videos and swats a newspaper at a hologram character. What the hell is this? What were they thinking? Why are they destroying these characters? This just shows you they don't give a fuck about these characters. They don't give a fuck about Loki. They don't give a fuck about Wanda. They don't give a fuck about nothing. They just want you to love everything no matter what. Ha 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 ha. These stupid MCU fans are just gonna love everything. They're gonna eat it up. They're gonna just... Oh, and you can see. Just go check IMDb. Just go check the reviews. You can see 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. There was this one idiot, and he posted this review where he's like, last episode, I gave a 10 out of 10. This episode is even better, but I'll just give it a 10 out of 10 anyway. Like, you guys see how insane these people are? Like, this is bad. This just shows why we've gotten to this point. Because of people like that who say like, oh, yeah, that was a 10 out of 10. This is even more of a 10 out of 10. Newsflash. Something can't be more of a 10 out of 10 than something else. They're both 10s out of 10s to you. So that means they're both equally rated, but you could still say one's better than the other. It still keeps that rating at 10 out of 10. For instance, I would give the movie Heathers a 10 out of 10 probably. And then the movie Fright Night a 10 out of 10. Well, guess what? Even though they're both rated 10 out of 10, I would definitely say that Fright Night is way better because it's, spoiler alert, my favorite movie of all time. So it's the same type of thing, but with these people, it's not surprising. You watch this episode, God, this was terrible. It reminded me a lot of Infinite, that Mark Wahlberg movie, the way that it was just so... It was like mildly entertaining in a bad way. Like, even though you know it's bad, it's still kind of like it passes the time, kinda. It's like homework. It's like busy work that you just kind of don't think is very hard. Like, if you guys ever did Quizlet, I did Quizlet, and it was the same type of thing where it's like, oh, you got to do Quizlet for an hour tonight, and it's gonna, you gotta do it for your Quizlet points. And I did that, and it was like, God, it's busy work, it's bullshit, but at least it's not like terrible, and I can I can mute it, and then I can listen to good stuff in the background while I'm doing this painfully stupid busy work. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this show is. It is busy work, homework. It is a time passer, and it's a placeholder until the next shitty MCU movie comes out so that people can obsess over that. It's just another thing, and it's a terrible thing at that. I mean, the episode really destroys the universe. It destroys the characters. You know, there's some intersectional agendas in there which were really, like, painfully bad. I hate that. These stupid social agendas that they just shove in everything nowadays. I'm gonna call it out every single goddamn time I see it. I'm not gonna let these people get away with this disgusting agenda shit that they do in everything they make. They can't make one damn movie without having an agenda. Make one fucking movie and keep the agendas out of it, you creative hacks. This show sucks. And let me tell you why. Let's talk a little bit about the story. You got Loki here, not Loki, gnocchi, potato gnocchi, you know, that type of gnocchi. And he's trash. He's a goofball, and he's like trying to convince Owen Wilson is Mobius. He's trying to convince Mobius to get a meeting with the timekeepers. And he's trying to kiss up to them and learn everything about the TVA, this stupid, dumb TVA agency. What a stupid idea that was. I don't know what comic book writer came up with that. Whoever did, they need to be checked, because that is the stupidest idea I ever heard. 3 idiots in space have some sort of a master plan for the universe. It's like a Christian agenda for the whole, you know, you don't have any free will, everything is God's plan type of thing. That's what it is. That is what it is. And it is just ridiculously stupid. It's like, you know, there's nothing, because here's the thing, nothing is like, why would you even worry about what happens on this show? Why would you even worry? Everything is a part of the master plan, so who cares? Like, who cares about all these stupid random TVA Minutemen who get killed? Who cares? I'm glad that they get killed. Kill more of them. Kill all of them. I'll help you kill them. I'll fucking, give me a pen and paper, and I'll draw a fucking picture of these stupid TVA Minutemen getting killed. I don't care about their stupid cult that they have, this technology cult, where they have this, like, I mean, it is basically a cult. They have this, like, vision where they slave themselves for these timekeepers, and then at the end of time they all meet the timekeepers, and then they die, and they just are destroyed, and the timekeepers are like, yeah, fuck off, slaves. You know, it's like this weird, like, evil organization. And to be honest, I don't give an F about these people. The only person I care about is Mobius, kinda, because it's Owen Wilson. And I love Owen Wilson. He's actually doing a good job. You know, Tom Hiddleston's doing a good job, even though his character is not his character anymore. So it's unfortunate that once again you have these 2 very talented actors, and they are being given this MCU script to deal with. And if I got this script, I would probably, like, I would do the most over the top, insane shit ever, just to make it as bad as possible. Like it's a Stephen King TV movie. Like that's what I would do, because this is just insanely stupid. And there's no stakes anymore. You know, you don't worry about anything anymore. You don't care. Why would you care? Everything is meant to happen. Even though they discovered this loophole where it's like, oh, in apocalypse situations, everything disappears, you know, nothing actually happens, quote unquote. And so you can do whatever you want in there, and none of it counts for the timeline. Number one, that's also retarded, because it completely goes against the whole timeline theory about like everything has to go as planned. You can't be late for work. You can't I don't know, step on an ant. Unless you are supposed to. So everything should be in a plan if that's the case, even if it's this apocalyptic event. I mean, if you look at apocalyptic events like, or even like really big events like 9/11, you're telling me that anything could happen even though that was a plan that all happened in a certain sequence of events, it could happen any way you wanted. And yet everything else has to happen a certain way. It does not make sense. And of course, it is all a contrivance so that Loki can eventually go to Ragnarok and stop Ragnarok from happening and probably take back Asgard, which, I think that's a cool idea. I think that that's a good goal to go to. Because, to be honest, even though I think that Loki dying was really powerful in Infinity War, it was very emotional, it was very dark, even though I think that I definitely wish that he could be redeemed somehow. And so if he got to take back control of Asgard, if he got to save it from being destroyed, because here's the thing too, Thor Ragnarok was a piece of shit, and it was a comedy kids movie type of thing. Nothing was serious in it. And so if you undid that movie, I would be so happy, even though it would probably be more Hela, and they would probably just have Hela a lot instead of Loki. I would be really glad that he accomplished something for once. As they pointed out, he's got a history of failure. And it's true. I mean, but they're making it that way. They're painting a picture, a narrative that they want you to perceive. And another thing is that in this episode, spoiler alert, as I've already spoiled everything, so whatever. In this episode, Loki suggests that himself is in, his evil version, quote unquote, is in this apocalypse situation where there was a hurricane in Alabama. And so they have to go there. And the thing is that there's this running plot in the episode about Owen Wilson loving jet skis for some reason. And in fact, he was swatting the missed minutes with the Jet Ski magazine, not a newspaper. Sorry about that. I did remember that. It's just I'm flabbergasted by this terrible writing, this terrible show, this abysmal abomination, this terrible, terrible travesty of events. This is a series of unfortunate events for sure. But you'd think that they're going to this water-themed disaster. You'd think that maybe this was actually a ruse so that Loki could get Mobius to jet ski. I mean, come on. I mean, if you wanted to cozy up to him to get to the timekeepers, the stupid lizard people, you want him to be happy, and so I thought that would happen, and so I wonder if that's going to happen or not, because that seemed like an obvious thing to do, to have him go on a jet ski in the hurricane, which would have been really funny and kind of like, wow, this is like a 1960s Batman cartoon movie, you know what I mean? And so, but everything that happens is just so like on the nose, it's so predictable, it's so, aside that, when everything is like fill in the blank, cliche, this guy, Loki, he's in trouble and he's in custody, and then there's this situation that happens where he gets away from them, and so they're gonna think that he's the bad guy now, and you can just tell everything that's gonna happen. And there's this awful sequence where he's getting beaten up by, and he's literally just getting shoved by these average people. I mean, there's this one guy, and it's too bad because I really thought that was a good idea. There was this one guy, and he had a name tag on, and so Loki's like, what is your name? Or he calls him Loki, and then the other Loki is like, no, I don't want you to call me that. Call me, and then he looks at the name tag and says Randy. And I thought that would have been really funny to call him Randy the whole season. Randy, the other Loki. That would have been... Because also, apparently, another stupid thing is that apparently, like, the most variants, the most people who screw up the timeline are all Lokis. Well, that would mean... so how does that work? Like, it's just, it blows my mind, these stupid stories that they write. You have like a million different Lokis, a million different versions. It's so cartoony. But anyways, in this sequence, he's getting beaten up by these regular people who are just possessed by him. They don't have his powers because they're just possessed by him. And he hardly even fights back. It's really pathetic. It's really like a, oh, God, oh, what is this? Oh. And then to top that off, of course, they reveal who the other Loki looks like. Because up to this point, he has been shrouded in a cloak. Well, he takes off the cloak, and then it turns out, it's a whammon. Yeah, wow, that was really... wow, that's such a shock that the other Loki is a whammon. I mean, I could have predicted that a mile away. There's no way that they leave him shrouded in a cloak if he was just Loki, just Tom Hiddleston cloned. You know, there's no way. It had to be a woman. And, you know what, I'm really... Just stop it with the... Really? Do you really have to do that? I mean, in order to have an effective female villain, you gotta really, really make her a good villain. I mean, you can't just have... It's such a trendy thing to do nowadays. Such a cliche thing to do in this PC culture. That we gotta have female villains now. We got female heroines. Or I guess female... Whatever, heroines. We have heroines now. We gotta have female villains. And so, like, you know, you got Dr. Sleep. She was not intimidating at all. You got all these movies nowadays, female villain. And it's real, like, they're not intimidating unless they're really, really well done. And I'll give you an example. Bully. That was based on some real life evil women. And these women were so evil. I mean, they really, like, I was like in shock that the evil, they were psychopathic. They were truly some despicable people, and they were just monsters, these cold-blooded monsters who didn't care about human life. They didn't care about the consequences. They just like, you know, they were cackling witch women. It was real, like, it was, they were scary. They were even scarier than the guys because the guys were just following after them and just doing what they wanted them to do. But in this show, you got this female Loki, and they acted like it was this impressive twist, this really good, like, oh my God, and it was not impressive. I was not intimidated. I was not scared. I didn't feel anything. Contrast that to the Avengers 1, where Loki was in that opening scene and he shows up and he kills all those people, and he looks evil in the Avengers 1. Contrast that reveal with this reveal. That's what I'm saying. You gotta improve on that. I mean, she's not intimidating. She is not scary at all. She could be really good. She could be the highlight of the show, because I'm telling you what, Loki's not the fucking highlight of the show. Loki's not even Loki. Loki is little, Noki. And so if they actually make her better than him, then I'll say so. But until then, she's trash. Everyone in this show is trash. You got that trash head of security. She makes it to where Loki's with her, and of course that fucks everything up, and of course it's an easy way for the evil Loki to get Loki alone. I mean, really, what they should have done was had Loki, the evil Loki, possess her before she suggested for him to be with her alone, because it was such a stupid idea to not have him be next to Mobius. I mean, because he escapes. I mean, he's already escaped now. He's already gone. He's already left them. Like, you thought this... I thought it was going to be Loki and Mobius together as like a team. You know, I didn't think that there was going to be this terribly irritating head of security who interferes, and then you got his boss that interferes, and it's like, really, like, what a shit. And you know what it is? It's so that the show can have more stuff in it. It's so, okay, we can have another scene now. This scene is gonna be the boss yelling at Owen Wilson. Oh, you can't do this with Loki. Loki is bad guy. You know, so we can have 5 to 10 minutes of that, so that the show can go on longer, because right now it's a bare bones. Nothing is happening. It moves so slow. It's at a snail's pace. I thought this would easily be a show that needed more, but it really needs less. I mean, we saw the recap of the first episode, and watching that was actually better than watching that episode, because you don't need all that other shit in that episode. You just watch the recap. So overall, I'm going to disappoint you guys again, because I'll tell you something. I can't, in good conscience, rate this any higher than any of the WandaVision episodes, because WandaVision, every single episode I've seen so far, is better than this. Even the first and second episodes, which I gave both an F-. So guess what I'm going to give Loki episode 2? An F-. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, comment, tell me what you thought of Loki. Did you hate it as much as me? Because, come on, I mean, I know some people are going to like it. You know, everyone, another man's trash is another man's treasure. You know, we all don't like the same women. You know, there's some women that I like that what you wouldn't like, So it's the same thing with shows. So if you like the show, that's fine. Just don't be afraid about it. Don't feel like you have to hide it. Just tell me why, and I'll be fine with it. I'm not gonna bully you like other people have done when I've said that I didn't like something, like Fargo fanboys. Yeah. And let me tell you something else. Fargo season 4 was way worse than this. So that just shows you, these are all F- shows that we're talking about here. And yet you can still rank them above one over the other. And so even though I would give, you know what I mean. I don't know why I have to explain that, but I saw that and it blew my mind. I gave last episode a 10 out of 10. This episode deserves even more than a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 anyways. So yeah, goodbye everybody. See you soon for Loki episode 3.